fish. Oh, it's a good fish. And yes, that's a good fish. All right, hey, another big fish. Another 10-incher. Here, bud. Another good 10-inch fish. Here you go. There you go, bud. See you later. All right, welcome back to Unstream. Happy Fishmas to those who celebrate. It's Boxing Day, December 26, 2024, and I'm out here on Creek. I've got the, look at that. Oh yeah. Got the Dragontail Icewing that I'm gonna test. I brought some other rods to fish with them. Keegan here in the garage cutting in real quick, and then I'll send it back to Keegan on stream. Today we are reviewing the Icewing, Dragontail's triple zoom soft action rod that came out recently. And I like the comparison to the Kaida the most. The Kaida is another rod by Dragontail, similar color scheme, and it is also a zoom rod, but it's a pack rod. This is one of my favorite rods. It's like an adventure rod. Also, I can hand it to a beginner. They can pick it up really easily. This one, the Kaida, fishes at 285 and 320, so it's good for smaller streams. I like to think the Icewing is a supersized Kaida. So this also fishes at 285, but also at 340 and then at 390. So it gets much longer. But the action is very similar, especially at that 340 setting. If you compare that to the 320 setting of the Kaida, basically what I'm saying is if you like the Kaida, you're gonna like the Icewing. The Icewing is a replacement for the Mutant, which was a similar rod. I don't know if Brent's gonna keep making the Mutant, but the Icewing I haven't fished the Mutant, just as a disclaimer. But the Icewing seems to be an upgrade to the Mutant in all kinds of ways. So this is the rod we're talking about today. And I just want to say a couple things quickly about its strengths, its weaknesses, and who might want to buy this rod. So the strengths are the versatility of this rod. To be able to fish at 285 in a tight stream and then all the way out to 390 is just awesome. And what I did with it was I put on a line that was pretty good for the 340, that middle setting. It was a 320 centimeter level line. And so for the 340, that casts really well. And I could totally use it on the 285 setting. It would just be a longer line for that. And then at the 390, it was great because if I wanted to reach over a rock or to the other side of the stream, I had that versatility right there. So that's the strength of it. What are the weaknesses of it? I think it's a very long collapsed length. So if you look at it next to a couple other rods here, it's a very long collapsed length. So if that matters to you, then that's a drawback. It doesn't really matter to me because I just put it in a backpack and it sticks out the top. It could stick out longer. I don't think of that as a drawback, but some people will see that as a drawback, especially compared to the size of the Kaida, right? It's just, and there's other rods that are this long with a smaller packed length. But the advantage that brings is you don't have to have as many sections, and I think the rod design and the overall action of the rod is better because the sections are longer. That's just a hunch, but there it is. The other thing about the rod that could be considered a weakness or a strength is the soft action. If you love soft action rods, you're gonna like the action of this rod. Where I see it as a weakness is if you fish a lot of small streams with overhanging trees or small swift flowing streams where you really need to be able to immediately control the fish, I think it's not as effective at doing that as a similar rod that's stiffer, more like a 7.3 action. This is rated as like a 5.5 or even a 4.6, not a 6.4, a 4.6. It's very, very soft. And that's fun if you're in an open space, if you're at a high alpine lake and there's no trees, if you're at a big river with no trees on the bank. It is fun to play the fish and get a huge deep bend. The whole rod will just double over. It's really cool. But if you are in a position where you need to really control the fish quickly, it's going to be a little bit of a weakness of this rod. Who would I recommend this rod to? Basically, if you like soft action rods and you want a really versatile rod at these multiple settings, this is a great choice. It's also relatively cheap. I mean, the pre-sale price was like $110. I think the full price is $160. But it really performs well at that price point. And if you like soft action rods and you want something that's versatile, you can only have to take one rod. You don't have to have a quiver of 100 rods for the different conditions. Or if you're going somewhere where you don't really know what the water is going to look like, this is a great choice. If you're the person that has a million rods and you want the perfect rod for every single thing, this is not going to satisfy you in the same way as an individual rod. As we all know, zoom rods tend to not fish quite as well as a fixed length rod at that setting. The same thing like if you're a photographer, a zoom lens doesn't perform quite as well as a prime lens at each setting. It's just because of the engineering principles. Same thing here. You can get lighter rods at 390. You can get a rod that's going to perform maybe more perfect for you at each of these zoom settings. But to have it all in one rod, that's a huge advantage. So I think this compares really well to the casting action of the Kaida, but I also think if you want a Japanese comparison, the other rod that compared very similarly to its slow action was this Nissin Airstage Fujiru 5.5. I have the 360 here, and that casting stroke is about the same as you get with the Icewing. I mean, the rods are different. Otherwise, of course, this is not a zoom rod, so it's lighter in hand, there's lower swing weight, stuff like that. But the timing of your casting stroke is very similar. So if you like the 5.5 Airstage Fujiru, you may also like this Icewing. The other rod I compare it to is a much more stiff rod, and that is the ProSpec 2-way from Nissin that I have. And I compare it because of the versatility. This is a 360 and a 310, but it's a 7.3 rod, it's a tip flex rod, it's much, much zippier. It's not as soft, but it's interesting in the video just to fish it a little bit next to it and feel the difference in the casting stroke to maybe help you decide which casting stroke would fit you better. So now let's go back to Keegan on stream. Enjoy the rest of the video. I've got on a size 14 Ichiban Kabari 2 glass beads by Jason Class, and we're fishing the Icewing starting at its longest setting, so that's the 390. Water temperature is 43. There was a fish. That was a fish. Let's try again for that guy. Water temperature is 43. Air temperature is 48. So that's a little on the cool side for Southern California. All right, good reach of this Icewing. There we go. Ooh. Another bite. I bet where we'll get a bite is if we can get it to the opposite side of the flow. There we go. There we go. There's a fish. It's a good fish. Good fish. Come on over. Get the net. All right, good fish. Let's see how big you are. 4 + 6, 10-inch fish. Come here, babe. Looks like a little female by the look of the mouth. Nice fish. Here you go. Bye-bye. So that was a nice 10-inch fish out of here, and I had it on the 390 setting, and I switched to the 340, and actually it throws it pretty well to the same spot. This rod is a very soft action, so it's a very relaxed casting stroke. So we're still on the 340 setting. I don't know if you can see, but the line really unfurls so gently, so softly. Stop the rod about 10 o'clock and it just goes. All right, I went to the longer setting. We're gonna try to sneak it in under this tree, right in there in the foam. Yep, there we go. Just let it drift in the foam. There's a fish. Ooh, that was a bite. Try to get it under there again. There we go. That's a fish. That's a fish. There we go. Little 6-incher. Nice. Right in there in that foam. I also want to say I love these new line winders from Dragontail. You can see there's 2 elastics, so they're very secure. And you can hook the fly down here if you've got the right tension on your line. Really nice. Just a couple other gear notes. It's cold, so I've got on my wading socks and my gaiters and extra socks under that on the shoes. And I dropped my phone in the drink last time, so now I've got it tethered and it lives right here in this pocket. So if I ever go, up to my chest in water, the phone, and then I can put batteries and electronics in these two pouches to keep them out of the water level, because I do a lot of scrambling. All right, let's go catch a fish in that pool. Here's another little 7-incher. Come here, guy. Or maybe girl. Who knows? Here you go. See ya. So I pulled her out of right here by this rock, just drifting on this flat. And with the 390, I was easily able to reach all the way to the other side. Honestly surprised there's no fish in there. Oh, there's one. That was a bite. Yep, there's a fish. Whoa, hi, bud. Here's a good look. I think you can see the line against the dark cliff, maybe the dark sky. But it's a real relaxed casting motion. You stop and it just throws the line gently forward. Here's another great spot. See if we can not spook this pool. To fly out into that flow underneath that stick, maybe. There's a fish. Ooh, that was a bite. All right, let's keep going there. Yep, there's one. There's one. Hey, buddy. Come on over here so we don't spook the rest of this place. All right, bud. Another little 7-incher. Ready, there you go. All right, I think this will be a good shot of what the casting looks like, because I think you can really see the line in this angle. There we go. That was really accurate cast right between those two rocks. The reach goes all the way up to that stick. That's a fish. That's a good fish. Nice. Whoa, nice jump. Come on over, dude. This way. Don't go under the rocks. Wow, he's under the rock. Come here. You can really haul on him with this long rod. Don't go down the falls. Another beauty. Another 9-inch fish. Beautiful rainbow. Love it. Here you go. Whoa, that whole big rock just moved. Yikes. Here you go, bud. See ya. All right, here's a wonderful little stretch. I'm on the 340 length. This line is, oh, there's a fish. Oh, that was a bite right around this rock. See if we can get him to take it again. If we go right in front of it, there we go. A little farther up by that little grass. I find that the rod is more accurate at the 340 setting, just less rod to floppy-doppy around. It's a little more zippy. And I prefer the casting with it at that middle setting. But the great thing is with this line's about 325 level line, plus maybe a foot or so of tippet, maybe 2 feet. With the line, you can easily zoom out to 390 without a problem, use it there, and zoom back if you want. You don't have to change lines. I'll try it on the shortest setting in a sec, but this is pretty accurate casting. Feels a lot like the Kaida at the 340 setting. A lot like the Kaida. Wow, I was able to reach the other side of that flow right there. That was a good cast. Yeah, oh yeah. Just stop it high and let it unfurl nice and gentle like. Very nice. Oh yeah, hitting right over there. Let's try a little further up. Is anybody holding on the bottom here? So I zoomed it all the way down. You can see that my level line's maybe 3 feet longer than the rod. So this is the lowest setting, or the shortest setting. And it's still quite snappy. Throws the line where I want it. I just pulled one out from right here among these grasses. And it was great. It's still quite snappy. Line goes exactly where you want it. It gets thrown out really nicely. Yeah. So it also casts really well at the shortest setting. Now we've got this longer pool, and I zoomed all the way out to the longest setting, and we can reach all the way up by those grasses. And that might be a fish. No, it might have been the grass, might have been a fish. Hard to say. So now with this little tunnel of grass, I want to be fishing in there. So I zoomed it to the middle setting, which I think is the most accurate for me. And yeah, boom, it slings it right up in between those grasses, no problem. And then I'll slowly make my way. Oh yeah, bullseyeing right between those grasses. There's got to be a fish along this bank. All right, keep moving on. Oh, there's a fish right there. Yep, I caught it. Came out, I didn't set it. I was like, oh, there's a fish, and it had already had the fly in its mouth. Oh, geez, that's great. Just turned the camera off, and of course, pulled this little piece of perfection right after that. Here you go, bud. See ya. All right, here's another good pool. Got some foam on this edge, and we got some grass on this edge. I'd be willing to bet there's a fish in there, so still in the medium setting. Just put it in that flow. Coming right around towards me. Yep, there's a fish. Oh, it's a better one. Nice. Come on out, dude. There you go. Another gorgeous 10-incher. Beautiful fish. Yes, lovely fish right here. Put you right back in the foam from whence you came. There you go. So yeah, that was great. Put it in the flow like this. The flow took it right along this wall. He took it right about there, right in front of this rock, right where this little swirly swirl. Looks like a good spot for a fish. All right, so I fished it all 3 lengths. It's great. I brought along some comps, so some comparable rods. This is the ProSpec 2-way 7.3, so it's a 360 or a 310. And I'm gonna keep on the same fly, even though it was a double glass speedhead. What happens is if it knocks against the rocks, the glass speedheads break. And that's actually why I got some with a little brass beadhead, similar weight, but won't break against the rocks. But anyway, so now it's down to 1 beadhead, so it's a lighter fly than it was before. That's been 1 beadhead for a good while now, probably 6 or 7 fish. But we're gonna try this ProSpec 2-way 7.3. All right, so right off the bat, this one's much snappier because it's a 7.3 action. I would say the Icewing is a 5.5, maybe even a 4.6, not a 6.4. Very soft. So this one is definitely a little snappier. Casting stroke is faster. There's a fish. Nope, that was a bite. Again, probably right in these edges. You can see the wind. It's pretty good, but not really having a problem putting the line where I want it. All right, let's see if there's anything over there. With the 360 reach, you should be able to, oh yeah, plunk it down right by that rock. There's a fish. Yep. Oh, little one. Come here, bud. Little 5-incher. Come here, little minnow. Beautiful. Beautiful little fish. Here you go, bud. Just caught 3 more. And I know I say this in every video, but I love juvenile fish. They're so pretty. They're so cute. They're so spunky. My favorite size fish. All right, so I just caught 3 or 4 on the Nissin, and the casting is a much smaller, much swifter stroke. It's much more of a tip flex rod, the stiffer rod, so it's zippier, very accurate. I'd say a faster, smaller motion. But the other thing I notice is when I hook into a fish and I go to set the hook coming from the Icewing, I just launch the fish. All right, I put a little brass beadhead Ichiban Kabari on because I destroyed the double glass beadhead, catching too many fish with it and bouncing it off rocks. And Jason actually tied these brass ones for me so they would be similar in sink performance to the double glass beadhead, but they wouldn't break when I cast them into rocks, which I do a lot on a stream like this. All right, I'll be willing to bet there's something bigger in this pool. Good size. Let's give it a try. We're still on the Nissin 2-way. Where I really want to be is right, yeah, there. All the way deep in those rocks. There we go. Oh, that was a bite. There we go. Oh, that's a good fish. That's a good fish. Stay on. Oh, that's a good fish. That's a really good fish. Get up here. That's the biggest fish of the day. Good fish. Here you go, bud. See ya. That's some serious big bear poop right there. All right, it's gorgeous out. We're stopping and having some hot soup I brought from home, some milk tea, some Christmas treats, and some spicy jalapeno chips. Oh yeah. Stream's diet snack. Merry Fishmas, everybody. Happy New Year.